Coming up on today's show, we have the latest Disney news and rumors. We have a few trips coming up over the next month we'll talk about. That's today on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome everyone to Traveling with the Mouse. This is episode 382. I am your host. I am Jason. I'm excited to be with you all today. But it's not just me. I am joined, as always, by the esteemed co-hosts. First, let's say hello to Adam.
Boo, what's up, everybody?
How you doing today, Adam?
That's my thing. What? I see John shaking his head at me. That's my thing. That's my thing.
That's your thing. That's your thing.
I'm doing great.
I know
I'm
you
actually
have
not.
Yeah, I know. You're supposed to be on vacation and not with us today, but it got cut short due to the hurricane. Yeah, Hurricane Nicole.
Nicole came to visit.
Yeah.
Did Nicole make it to hurricane status?
Yeah,
it did.
Barely.
It was her. It was Category 1.
Just barely.
Landfall.
For like a couple hours. Whatever it was.
Yeah. So you missed out on some of your vacation. I know you have another one coming up soon, a little bit after Thanksgiving that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Which will be good.
Yeah.
And in addition to Adam, you already heard him. There's John.
Paging Mr. Morrow, Mr. Tom Morrow. Please contact Mr. Johnson in the control tower to confirm your flight to the moon.
Oh, I know where that's from. That's from
Expedition.
That's from the Expedition Everest.
Right. Yeah, because you go to the moon at the end of that.
Yeah.
That's where you find the Yeti.
I'm usually in the dark when I hear that.
When you hear that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, you're not.
Mr. Tom Morrow?
Yeah, I don't think... Is it say it when it's in the dark?
Inner Space Mountain.
I always remember it being like when you were just on the outside, like just above the laugh floor now, I guess. That's what I always remembered. Am I wrong? But is that the old spiel?
It's the exit queue of Space Mountain when you're going over that.
I'm going to have to go back and listen. I'm going to watch a video of the whole like spiel.
Pause this. Go watch the People Mover video.
Come back.
Who's right?
Well, that one anyway was an old version because it referenced the flight to the moon. So,
well, of course, but the paging Mr. Morrow, Mr.
It's
Tom
been around
Morrow.
for a long time. Yes.
Space Mountain exit queue.
It's not Expedition Everest?
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You were wrong this time. You lose, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You get nothing.
You get some right, you get some wrong. We'll I guess you take
Win
your
some,
wins
you
and your
lose
losses.
It's
That's
Chinese theater. It's the dolphin.
Okay.
It's always the dolphin.
So I have a funny story about the swan and dolphin.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. The Swolfen.
Yeah, the swolphin. I went to my son's parent-teacher conference recently, and they were showing us all of his various work at his school over the past little bit. And at the end, I walked out and saw some of his art and some of the stuff that he had done. And one of them, he had to write sentences, and then he edited them and made them better and all these things. And then he had to illustrate the sentences. And one of them had to do with Disney World, right? Something about something great was happening at Disney World is the sentence he came up with. Yeah. But his picture was of a building, a hotel, and it had the fish on top.
Oh, okay.
The fish on top.
Wait, you showed this to me.
Yeah.
Right? Or something.
Because it's the fish hotel, not the dolphin.
Yeah. Right.
It's nothing like a dolphin.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And I thought it was funny that that's what he chose to draw.
Right.
For.
It's because it's what he can see.
Yeah.
From everywhere.
You can see it from anywhere.
Yes. It's visible from everywhere. I have a funny story about the dolphin, too, that just happened today. I changed my resort in my upcoming trip. Big shock, right, John? We always do that.
I was going to say, that sounds like normal to me.
Yeah, I know. So I changed it, but I didn't tell my son. I just told him I changed. He's like, what hotel? So just to mess with him, I was like, well, what's your least favorite hotel? And he was like, the Dolphin. So I was like, oh, I changed it to the Dolphin then, just to annoy him. And of course, he was like, you didn't really do that, did you? No, I didn't. But
wow, the Dolphin is his least favorite. That's what
he said. Yeah, he said the Swan and Dolphin, but yeah.
I think he just heard that from you, and he decided to run with it.
You know why, though? I know why he doesn't like it as much. They don't have the channel with the Mickey cartoons.
Oh, that was the first strike.
Yeah. It's all the Disney hotels have those Disney specific channels. Swan and Dolphin don't have them.
That's why.
And that's why I've never chosen the Swan or the Dolphin.
Yeah. I feel like the Swan and the Dolphin, in the last few times that I've looked, the deal, you don't get as, like, it used to be, I can be near Epcot and it'll be somewhat cheaper, but the prices are kind of crazy, especially whenever they're still doing double beds and stuff like that. I mean,
double beds.
What does the Reserve have?
Resort fee. Oh, the Reserve is way more expensive too.
Yeah, but what does it have? Surely it doesn't have double beds.
No, but it's way more expensive. Although I forgot the name of that restaurant. It's always wide open availability.
Yeah. Amare.
Yeah, the one at Swan Reserve. Yeah, always available.
I wonder if it's any good.
It's always available. You can find out. You can probably book it right now for your upcoming trip. Try it out.
That's right. By the time this comes out, I will be returning from Disney, but I do my spur of the moment things, and I decided I have a spare day this weekend, and I'm literally going to go down for a single night because I want to see Fantasmic. So I'm going to go see it.
Makes sense. I want to go see it, but I don't want to stand in line to go see it. So I'm curious what your plan is.
Well, I'm debating. I don't think they have lightning lanes, do they, for it? Because if they did, I would maybe just pay for Genie Plus to get that lightning lane.
Not currently.
So I don't know. I think I was planning on park hopping to Hollywood Studios around, 5, 6 o'clock. Check it out. Or maybe just if I don't get in the door, I don't get in the door and I'll just have to get drunk. I don't know.
Okay. Can always go to Baseline or Brown Derby.
Using the Ned Land line. There's only one thing a man can do when he's made a mistake as big as this. You don't know that line? You don't recall that, Adam, from 20,000 Leagues? After he rescued Captain Nemo?
Yeah, it's been so long.
Anyway.
What was surprising, though, a couple of things I'll note before we get into the news on planning this trip, because as per usual, I'm using my vacation club points, but I'm booking it last second, right? So one of the things that spurred me to action was I looked one day, and this was a few days ago, and they had a studio at Old Key West, which is one of the cheapest studios you can get.
Yes.
Got it for 16 points for a night, which was not too bad. And so I booked it. But the thing that I've noticed, especially as the hurricanes started rolling in, and I don't know if that's the case or they just haven't sold stuff, is, I'm going to be there Saturday night. On Wednesday and Thursday, I've been noticing a lot more rooms all of a sudden just popping up all over the place. I don't know if it's people canceling their trips or if it's people canceling cash rooms and they're, dumping them back into the DVC pool to see if somebody will pick them up.
Could be.
Once it gets, I think, within 30 or 60 days, I forget what the rule is, Disney has the right to pull them out of the DVC inventory and sell them for cash. Yeah. So they can move them in between. So I'm curious if these were DVC stays that people canceled or if Disney's playing with inventory, because there was a lot of just, I looked at one point and it was nothing. And then like 10 resorts had stuff in it. It's interesting.
You mean there are people that pay cash for Riviera?
Yeah. There was a Grand Floridian resort studio that popped up, but it was like 24 points. And I thought, for my one night and what I'm planning to do, I don't think I need
one
to
night
pay
and it's
extra.
just you. I would be perfect time to use the studio at the Riviera.
Well, I've used, it was Riviera. This was Grand Floridian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
so that was
24 points you said for the Floridian, right?
Right. That's 8 more points than the Old Key West.
Yeah.
And
save those 8. I would, for one night kind of trip like that. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was just saying. But my point with that is Riviera's studio. Was it Riviera or was it Old Key West you're going to?
I'm going to Old Key West.
Okay, Old Key West. Never mind. I don't know where I got Riviera from.
Riviera is my home resort. Riviera is one of the more expensive point-wise.
Yeah.
And smallest studio.
Yeah. Or the Tower Studio is the smallest, which is nice.
Yeah.
I did make a booking for the Every Ride Challenge, which is happening December 7th through 11th. I'm going to do the second challenge day. I think we're going to have some of the folks come on maybe in the next couple weeks to talk about it, but there's going to be every ride run. They're going to raise money for Give Kids the World. They're going to do two runs, one on Wednesday, December the 7th, and one on Saturday, December the 10th. And I believe there is also a volunteer event. I think it's either the 8th or the 9th at Give Kids the World. So I'm going to do the run on the 10th with my son. And for that one, the Friday night, it was 30 points, which was quite a bit, but it is a studio at the Grand Floridian theme park view for that Friday night before the challenge, which I thought would be very beneficial to already be right next to Magic Kingdom, because I think we're going to do the points challenge because my son does not want to, I think, attempt the whole thing. He was like, I just want to do one park, and I've talked him into, let's try to complete at least two and then rack up some bonus points. So we'll see. But for the night of the 11th, or the night of Saturday, I'm still trying to see if I can find a studio because I'm currently in a 1-bedroom at Saratoga. Not super happy about that point spend because that's I feel like a bit of a waste of points, but at least it's Saratoga, so it's a little cheaper on the points front.
Yeah.
So an update on how we're spending the points here. This is one of my concerns. I think I told y'all when I was looking at DVC is not being able to find stuff, but I seem to be getting used to this like last second booking strategy. As long as you're willing to resort hop, you can get stuff.
Put some stuff together.
Piece things together.
Piece some stuff together. And so what's your new resort, Adam? Where'd you end up landing?
Grand Destino, of course.
Nice.
That's the other one you were debating in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So what made you change?
Well, we had to switch the dates a little bit because we can't come back on the Monday anymore. So now we have to come back on Sunday. So I called to ask about cutting it short or sliding it back, a day. It was originally 3 nights, but of course they couldn't do that. There was no availability at French Quarter. Even with, I was like, but you can't just take a night off of the reservation I already have booked. Nope, doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
They were like, we could put you at Riverside. Don't want that. So
it's like been there, done that.
Yeah, don't want it. So I was hoping to be able to, go to French Quarter, but not available for the new change I had to make for the dates. So Grand Destino was available. I could have also done Outer Building, but I was like, it's only a little bit more, and I'm cutting a night off, so it's still less than what I was going to do for 3 at French Quarter. So there I am.
Did you go water or standard?
I think I went standard, but water was available too, so I didn't really care.
I've noticed that their water and standard views are very close in price. It's a button more. And I think the reason is their standard view has a view of, you can basically see the
Magic
fireworks
Kingdom.
shows, out the side. And the Hollywood Studios now, you can see Fantasmic from it as well.
Yeah, I didn't really care because it's just 2 nights.
Yeah, awesome.
But there you have it.
So we'll get into maybe a little bit more of some of the trip planning, but just note those things.
Yeah.
John, when's your next trip? You got one?
I have nothing on the docket at the moment.
Okay.
Nothing on the docket.
Until Chapek gets fired.
I don't know.
Then maybe. No.
Old Key West sleeps 4 if you want to run down this weekend. We can ride Guardians.
Maybe get a different soundtrack.
Yeah, when does the Christmas one start? After Thanksgiving? Or is it?
I don't know. I don't think they've said.
Yeah.
Christmas is pretty much already starting. It's like they just add things.
Yeah, throughout the next
week or two. They throw a bunch of stuff up at the beginning, and then they start adding the other stuff as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have Festival of the Holidays by the time you go at them, because right now I'll get the dregs of the Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah, so, it's the last week of it, right?
Yeah, it'll be the last little bit of the Food and Wine Festival.
Next week, yeah.
And then there's Diet Epcot for how long?
Like 2
Probably
weeks.
A day, I would imagine.
Actually, a week. I forgot.
For not long before it changes to whatever they do next.
Festival of the Holidays.
Festival of the Holidays, right. Okay.
That's my least favorite festival.
Yeah, it's very dessert heavy. That's mostly what it is.
Yeah.
So it should be right up Adam's alley.
It is one of his favorites, I thought, right?
And it starts on the 25th.
Well, that means it's going to be crowded at Epcot that day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does Festival of the Holidays carry the same weight as some of the other ones?
No, there'll be all the bloggers there trying to eat all the food and take pictures of it.
Yeah, Candlelight Procession also starts that day, doesn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, because I
think you're right.
it starts the same day, so there'll be the folks there for that too. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's very dessert heavy. I'm like, it's not my favorite either. It's probably my least favorite, but as soon as this one's over, Festival of the Arts, so
that's my favorite. I love Festival of the Arts.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's like a miniature dogwood festival like we have in Atlanta.
Yeah, and it's got good art. I like the good art. I like the food. I think the food is... It has that one booth that we really like at the Festival of the Arts with the Impossible short ribs. Or is that Flower and Garden? I can't remember.
That was Trowel and Trellis, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's Flower and Garden.
Yeah,
but
I was like,
you're having trouble distinguishing the festival. That's how much I like it.
They did have something that was an Impossible something, right? At the
yeah, they have an Impossible stand at every festival, I think.
Yeah, right? It seems like it.
An Impossible stand.
Do they have an Impossible cookie at the? Because they have like the cookie. What do you call it? Cookie. I'm blanking on what it is. At the Festival of the Holidays, you have this cookie stroll. I think that's what it's called, the cookie stroll. I'm the only one that is sort of into cookies. My kids don't really love cookies that much either. But
you have kids that don't love cookies
either. Yeah, I'm not a big cookie person.
That's unusual.
Well, I'll say it this way: every time we're at Publix, they always get the free cookies, but that's about it.
Because they're free,
right? They want the sprinkled one.
Oh,
anyway.
Interesting.
If it's free, it's for me.
The big news this week, of course, was that another hurricane rolled through Disney. As far as we can tell, no real big impact other than there was a day that... So what was interesting I saw is that Chapek found a way to still open the parks at noon and charge people the full price for a whole day.
Of course. Yeah.
And I saw on Twitter that a lot of cast members called out. They had maybe a quarter of the festival booths opened. They basically limped their way into a day just so they didn't have to refund people a ticket.
Right.
And I saw a picture of the right before the hurricane got there and nobody was in the parks, of a Festival of the Lion King performance where there was maybe less than 100 people in the auditorium.
Oh, wow.
So
I would have gone.
That would have been cool. You would have had a good chance of getting selected to be part of the show. Guess how much Genie Plus was today?
How much?
15.
Yeah, of course. The only
for
day.
the 12 p.m. day.
Right. So they can get away with it. So they can say, hey, yeah, we still do $15 days. Yeah, when there's a hurricane.
Well, they couldn't. I mean, even in the modern era, they couldn't justify going over 15 on that day. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Tomorrow it'll be 22, though, just to get it back. Let's see. Out of curiosity.
Well, tomorrow, as of the time we're doing this, it's a holiday, right? So
22.
That could be a reason.
22.
And a holiday that falls on a weekend.
Did they go up on parking? I don't remember if I saw a news article on that or not. For like preferred parking.
Yeah, I think it's 30 instead of 25 now on the... I don't know if it's kicked in yet, but I
thought I read that. Or was it Disneyland that said that?
So it could have been Disneyland.
Let's just say that is the case. You say 30 instead of 25. Still worth it?
On occasion.
Depends.
I haven't been paying it as much because recently the only park where I really I've parked a lot is Animal Kingdom, because if we go to Magic Kingdom, we usually park at the Grand Flow or Contemporary. And yeah,
no, we don't.
We usually park there.
Yeah, I usually park in Simba or, just that big parking lot. Take the trolley. Yeah. Go ahead.
Or I've been able to stay with DVC on the Skyliner a bit. And if we're not on the Skyliner, we often end up parking at a Skyliner resort. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Because I actually was trying to figure out where I was going to park. Because I'm going to go driving in on Saturday straight to the parks. And I was going to go to Epcot first, make my way back, go do Guardians, make my way around World Showcase. And then, park hop over to Hollywood Studios, watch Fantasmic. And then, how do I get back to my car?
Take the bus. Wait, where are you parking? Sorry, say that again.
I was going to park at Epcot.
Oh, at Epcot.
So you should park at like Boardwalk.
I mean, that's the thing. Yes, Boardwalk would be the best choice.
Which means you'd test out the dining thing.
Because see, at Boardwalk, you could always say you're going for the actual Boardwalk, right?
They don't let you park there for that. No. Not without a reservation.
Tell them you want to go to Storm the Long Bay. Then they'll let you park.
Right.
Tell them I'm there to buy more points.
Yeah, that they might. They would drive you in the DVC van over to Fantasmic if they thought you were going to buy more points.
I don't know. I'm enjoying this DVC life. I'm just saying, I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I know that I'm paying a bill every month, but there's something special about I leave and I get that email that says your Disney World portfolio when you check out of the hotel,
0.
And it's blank. It's just flat out blank.
Wasting paper.
It's a nice illusion that you're not spending a lot of money, right?
Well, actually, I feel like I maybe already am beating. I think I'm already beating inflation because I bought it in January, and you look at the hotel prices and how much they've already gone up, and I'm like,
"That's a good point."
I think I'm. I think what was the purchase price of my DVC? I mean, I'm still paying it off, but I think it's like $30,000 or something. I think that might be how much a hotel room will cost by March, the way they're going.
As long as Chapek is still CEO. There's a good segue.
Yeah, so Chapek, we did have an earnings call, right?
Oh, did you see a segue? Q4. Oh, I thought that's what you meant. Like, hey, there's a good segue.
No,
yeah, we had an earnings call, and Chapek reported out all this. They had a lot of revenue. I mean, I won't lie, they had a lot of revenue. They also had a lot of losses.
Yeah.
He made a big fanfare about it, and the shareholders weren't too happy. So it's gotta tell you something when you've got a guy that can make all the fans and people who enjoy the product mad in the name of making the shareholders happy and still not make the shareholders happy.
Right.
That's because the numbers weren't as good as they weren't.
Well, the parks revenue was pretty good.
Well, yeah.
Skyrocketing. Because of all the crazy expenses.
That's because of all the upcharges.
Right.
Pretty much alone. So.
Yeah. And Jim Cramer had some commentary. I don't know how much credence we want to put in this, but he more or less said that they should fire Bob Chapek. I don't think for the same reasons we would say that. I think he would like to replace Bob Chapek with someone who would raise the prices even more. But,
I think he was more or less saying somebody who the way that they handle the business, more or less.
Yeah.
The way I took it from what I saw was he was saying that Chapek didn't exactly exude a confident leader. Like he didn't give that vibe, even to the shareholders. We already know he didn't give that vibe to the workers.
Right.
But he was not. He didn't present himself as a guy who is heading up a, however many $billion company they are now.
Yeah. I think I last checked at something like $192 billion.
Yeah.
So, compared to something like Apple, it's kind of small. I think I saw something recently that Apple makes has more than $1 billion in revenue a day or something like that. It's like crazy.
That's because people will buy a new iPhone with a drop of a hat, and that baffles me. I'm just saying.
Anyways. I know that this is a little bit old, but I'm excited. I'm going to go get to see the new Flash moment at Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just saying, a little bit of an extra addition to my,
now that he's on
my
Team
new favorite
Guardians.
coaster. Now that I'm on Team Guardians, I'm a little excited about that.
It's like, oh, yeah.
What is it? What am I missing?
The Big Bang scene in Guardians where it goes boom. They added a bright flash, and the whole idea is to try to make your eyes think it's darker after the flash goes away as you're going into the first launch.
So your picture looks better? I don't know. Because those pictures
or is
look
this
like
is this a
crazy.
Men in Black thing? They want you to forget.
Yeah, something like that.
We have to go back. Yeah.
Should
It's some sort of hypnotic thing. Actually, is what it is. There's a flash in there. It's like spend more money.
Maybe I should go try to get on the Star Cruiser. Just walk in. They might let me in. They're like, please, anybody, come in here, please.
You know, whenever we talked about that just a little while ago about how it's not full. I think did I share this? How they're reporting that it's less than 25% in a lot of these.
I think we mentioned
that is
last
ridiculous.
Week. Yeah, bad.
I was gonna say it's bad enough that it wasn't selling out like they were wanting, but like they're talking less than 25% capacity.
Yeah, this thing hasn't even been open a year, not even close yet, and it's already doing that badly.
I know, and the thing is I want something like this to succeed. I really do. Right? Because it was a creative endeavor. It was cool. I think they just need to make it somehow a bit more compelling for a repeat guest.
They overestimated the demand.
Yeah.
And they totally misread the audience for this. Nobody wants a new story. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth.
I think that there's a lot of people that wouldn't mind a new story. If there's enough people that want to live in a Star Wars story, I do think that the price is a little off-putting,
and they would prefer the things that they are familiar with.
You should be off-putting.
I think if there was, if there was maybe a rotating set of storylines that they could go with, so you could say which cruise do you want to get on? Do you want to get, they could have maybe 6 or 7, 5, 6, I don't know, different stories. And that way you could go back and forth.
And I think people aren't buying the whole cruise on land thing either. I don't think they're buying it. It's like we discussed last week. I mean, when Jason wasn't here, I don't know how Jason felt. Or did you listen to last week's episode? I don't know.
No.
So basically, we're talking about how it's eventually going to be a Star Wars hotel. That's pretty much what it's going to be.
Yeah, we talked about that in chat. I think that I feel like this is a concept that can work. They just need to either get the price right, or if they're going to charge this much, there needs to be enough compelling reason to keep going back.
Well, part of the reason why they're having to charge this much is because of all the people they're having to pay to keep this up.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is that's why it's so cool, is all the actors and stuff. I mean,
Yeah, but you reach a point where you're strangling yourself. You can't meet the demand, but you can't pay the actors.
It's like Disney Plus. They're still losing money because they're investing so much in all these projects, and then they don't have enough subscribers to meet the revenue to cover it.
To be fair, the Disney Plus thing, I mean, people made a big deal about them losing money. They literally went into this expecting to lose money for the first 3 years.
Right.
Just like a new business venture, basically.
But they went into the Star Cruiser trying to make money day one. And
they didn't want 25% capacity this early in the game. Let's put it that way.
They can't be making money every cruise if it's that little of because there's only 100 rooms, so 25% capacity is like.
Well, I haven't even been, and my desire to go waned very fast.
Oh, there's one that I would like to go on, but I'm not going to. I don't even know if they saw availability. I know we listened to the Disney Dish, and
when they're the one that they're going to do, they're the planned one. Okay,
that would be fun to be on there with like Lynn and Jim and all the other listeners, because that everybody's going to be super into it. Everybody that's going is going to be into it, and you meet a bunch of new people. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Well, we already know Lynn thoroughly enjoyed the Star Cruiser. I mean, he was to tears. He enjoyed it so much. That's part of it.
On a regular.
It doesn't hurt his wallet as bad. I get what you're saying. Yeah. There are other people that it doesn't hurt their wallet as bad. But
I mean, for a lot of Star Wars fans, this is probably like a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
And they've probably already gone.
Right. Versus like, I'm going to do this once a month.
I also wonder if they could have a longer cruise. It would cost more, but because it feels like it's so cramped and rushed.
But if you're Disney, do you feel like your answer to we're not being able to do this at 2 nights, do you feel like your answer is going to be go longer? I mean, I don't think so.
Coupon day. They need discounts, really.
You know what's another part of that, though? I mean, we've talked about it. We mentioned it again last week. I know I'm rehashing a little bit of this about the doing, everything being packed into 2 days, right?
Yeah.
You feel like you're constantly got something that you have to do or feel pressured in some cases to do, even though technically you don't have to, over the course of those 2 days. That is not the feeling you get on an actual cruise, right? You pretty much feel like you can do whatever you want.
On the 3-night, we feel pretty rushed in some cases.
You don't have things that you feel you have to accomplish like you do on the Star Cruiser.
Well,
there's no way.
You probably haven't gone with the people because it's like we have to be the first out on the beach.
Well, if that's true, then that's going to be no matter how many days you're gone.
But
that's just the way you do it.
That's not every day though. Like when you're on a 3-night cruise, I think having a 7-nighter with a few days at sea slows you down. And then like Adam was feeling pressure and he never even got to ride the aqueduct because,
the line was too long and then we never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
We also had kind of an odd cruise where we were dodging another tropical storm. So I guess it's just my year for tropical storms, but...
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, for example, the way I would do it now, because I just don't really have any desire to do anything at Nassau, do probably a 4-night one and skip Nassau.
I would skip Nassau too. I think that's a good one to skip.
Treat Nassau like a day at sea, even though you're just sitting there. But there's all kind of stuff going on. I mean, there's not as many activities, but you can always do stuff like the aqueduct, for instance, during that time period.
Right.
It's always open.
Have you guys seen like the new Royal Caribbean ship that is just massive?
Floating city.
Yeah, like you pull it up next to the Wish and it dwarfs it. And I'm like...
Royal Caribbean's been known for trying to make the biggest ships, period. Yeah.
And I'm like, how? I wonder, and also, how many people do they put on those stinking ships? I mean, it is...
I don't know. I haven't looked at the capacity. There's a lot. Then again, they make pretty good sized rooms in comparison to some of the other ones. Disney, of course, was one of the first ones to do larger staterooms. But Royal Caribbean kind of they followed suit very, very quickly. So
maybe we'll give it a shot one of these days just to see what it's like.
See here's an example of kind of what's happened everywhere. Disney raises the bar, right? And on the cruise lines, basically Disney raised the cruise line bar, and now you see other cruise lines trying to step up their game because of it, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, now Carnival is going to be what they are. I don't think they feel like they're not. They
not
have
good.
they have such a large fleet, and they're so established that they don't have to do as much.
And they're not good. I've been on 2 Carnival cruises.
I've only been on one, and it wasn't that great. But
yeah, I've been disappointed in both of them.
The time that I went, though, I also went on an older ship that was from 1985.
Which ship was that?
The Celebration.
I rode the Celebration as well
Did
once. That was my first cruise, was the Celebration.
There you go. That was also my first cruise. The Celebration is now owned by some other cruise line, and I think
they still have that ship out? That Celebration was not good.
That's why I said it was built in like 85, but it doesn't belong to Carnival anymore, but it belongs to somebody who just does, I think it stays in
budget
like
cruises,
Palm Beach or somewhere in that area and just goes straight across to like Freeport or something and back or something like that. But it's still out there. It's called something else now. I remember looking it up one time. I can't remember what it's called now.
Gotcha.
Maybe it's the Grand Celebration, I think. They still kept Celebration in the name.
So let's get back to Disney. A couple of things that are coming back. We're getting closer and closer to back to normal. Green Army Men, Kylo Ren little show in Galaxy's Edge. So a couple of things coming back into Hollywood studios. And not to mention, of course, Fantasmic back. We've already talked about that. But it's like slowly but surely we'll have everything back. I guess, maybe.
Getting there.
So they're going to make it totally realistic if the Green Army men, since they're back, if they have a giant foot come down and like step on one of them every once in a while, and you hear someone scream in pain after doing so, right? In the backyard.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway.
Are they still going to have the Mr. Toad popcorn buckets this weekend?
You gonna get one?
You mean that giant car that holds like 2 kernels?
Yeah. In the passenger seat. That's all.
Right.
You have some popcorn. That's it.
Like they found a way to sell this expensive popcorn bucket that everybody's going to love. Don't get me wrong, the design's cool, but like holds very little popcorn.
I mean, I think that's what they do these days is have something cool that people want to buy for $30.
Yeah, you're just basically buying the container. Right? That's really what it's for. Yeah.
Either way.
Can you get refills with it, hopefully?
Yeah, I think you can. You can still get them.
I would hope.
That's the thing. Those popcorn buckets, it's the same price for a refill, whether you get the actual popcorn bucket that fits a decent amount of popcorn.
I don't know. If you're buying a Toad one, you should get free refills.
Yeah, you should. I'm trying to think. What else hasn't come back yet? There's probably a few restaurants.
Affordable prices. That hasn't come back yet.
Well, you know that.
Unlimited park hopping has not come back yet.
Well, okay. I'm talking
about
if it
ever is. You talking about realistic things?
Or meet and greets or restaurants or whatever. There's
Garden Grill breakfast.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's one thing.
Are they just not bringing that back? I mean, what's the reason?
I don't get that one. That one should have already
I don't understand why you wouldn't bring it back. That was very good. That was like one of the best breakfasts there was the Garden Grill breakfast.
Characters at Ohana still aren't back. That's one thing, too. But
weren't they discussing like reshuffling or rebranding what characters they did there? Is that part of the reason? I don't think they've ever officially like decided on what they're going to do.
I mean, if they brought Moana in, that would be a face character, which would cost more, right? So then the price would go up probably.
Would they do it that way, or would they do it like a Lilo style and make it Moana Lilo-ish? No?
I don't know.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Is it still recording?
Yeah, it's still recording. Yes. We were gonna record the outro in case you didn't come back.
Yeah, something happened to my Switch, I guess.
What does the Nintendo have to do with this?
We'll find out.
All right, let's do one more story and then we'll wrap it and then see what happens. All right. So let's talk about something fun, Adam, since you just got back.
Yeah.
One of the things from Bob Chapek's little speech the other day when he was talking about all of the sales and making Jim Cramer mad, they talked about what their plan is for a possible recession. And they said they'll bring back ticket discounts. They're going to increase the capacity and resell annual passes. So if we go to a recession, that's what we're going to get.
He said that? Interesting.
That was McCarthy, actually, the CFO.
Kevin McCarthy. Just kidding. Interesting.
And here's the other thing. Who's going to be the one that defines what the recession is? You know what I mean? Who's going to define that? So I think he's just throwing stuff out there that people will respond positively to. That's my first take on it.
Yeah, but it's going to take a recession for them to start selling annual passes again. That's the only way it's going to happen. Wow. Okay.
I don't know. And then they're going to keep the price the same. That's the thing. They're going to keep the price in the same range.
Great.
And there's going to be, just like it is now, there's going to be no difference between child and adult. So,
the bare minimum, they should sell them to DVC members. Still crazy. They don't do that.
Right. Are included.
Oh, so they're not even currently selling them to DVC members?
No, not brand new ones. You can only renew.
But don't you currently have the gold or whatever it is?
I was able to renew into
at gold. Okay, gotcha.
Crazy that they don't do that. Yeah, I guess I have to activate my Incredipass now when I get there.
Incredipass activate.
Yeah.
So I think we should do the outro here in a second. But here's the interesting thing. The interesting thing I see is that John and I's audio is moving at the same speed, and Adam, yours is moving across the screen slower.
Oh boy.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
This is interesting. I don't know. It looks like the same to me on my screen.
Are you in like some sort of space-time distortion field?
As I said before, mine doesn't move at all on my screen. So, but y'all's.
This has been a technical challenge episode, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. And if you want to find out more, where should you go?
Well, you can go to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. That is all at TWTM Podcast. We have a Spreadshirt store in which you can get your exclusive TWTM merchandise. That is shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM Podcast. There is also a YouTube channel out there for you to take a look at. And where can you find that, Adam?
On our website, travelingwiththemouse.com. We have links to all that and more there. You can email us, podcast@travelingwiththemouse.com. And if you want some assistance planning your next Disney or Universal or cruise line vacation, reach out to our travel agent friend. Her name is Jill Dilbeck, and her email address is jilldilbeck@gmail.com. You can also find it on our website.
So, for John and Adam, this is Jason. This has been Traveling with the Mouse, and we hope you will join us on our next trip.
Did you guys talk about the Christmas party?
No.
Oh, well.
I guess the Christmas party wasn't important enough.